What's up, everybody? On this Spenny Spotlight, we're going to take a look at Kyle Hamilton, second-year safety out of Notre Dame. Had a massive first half with 3 sacks, tying an NFL record for defensive backs, I believe, in the first half. Sets a Ravens franchise record for most amount of sacks in a first half. Now leads the Ravens in sacks on the year with 3, one of those being a strip sack. So with that, like and subscribe. Before we get on into it, make sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons. Then we can get on into it. So without further ado, let's look at the tape, see how Hamilton did it. 3rd and 8 here, we see the first of Kyle Hamilton's 3 sacks. The Colts are in a tight alignment with a 3-by-1 formation, which they motion into a 2-by-2, as you can see. When they do so, you'll see the Ravens start to give this full pressure look. There are, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 defenders at the line of scrimmage, with 4 back here off the ball to align for the 4 receivers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the Ravens are showing a cover 0 look, essentially. Kyle Hamilton, you'll notice, starts to creep right before the snap. First, he's aligned in press man. Towards the snap, starts to show that pressure look. So what this would say is that the Ravens are going to play the sticks with a cover 0 look. We can see the first down marker at the top of the screen right at the 39-yard line. The Colts are going to run a concept called mesh rail from this 2-by-2 tight alignment. They're going to run a 3-man mesh. Josh Downs is going to go away from that up here, and then we're going to see Alec Pierce as part of that 3-man mesh. Basically, the point of mesh is just to muddy the middle of the field with picks and try and sneak a receiver through that you can throw the ball to, can run after the catch. So the Colts are thinking, okay, we'll create a mess over the middle of the field against this cover 0 look and get the ball out. The other aspect of this is that it's rail, mesh rail. Rail is going to be the rail route from the running back, kind of like a wheel route out of the backfield. It's a super popular concept at a lot of levels of football, mesh rail. So the Ravens give you that look of, okay, go ahead. Now we're going to see Kyle Hamilton sneak up, but what we are going to see as well is that Justin Madubuike and Michael Pierce are both going to drop off the line of scrimmage. So the Ravens actually don't blitz. They simulate pressure, rushing 4. We're going to see that drop off and that drop off as Hamilton is going to come outside of Jadeveon Clowney. Roquan Smith is going to blitz, as well as Robinson. So we're really only going to see 4-men rush. So it's still a 4-man rush. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The Ravens are going to overload one side. This is an overload pressure. 3 pass rushers to one side. Michael Pierce's alignment, which I'm going to go to the reverse here. We'll see the Kyle Hamilton sack from here. Michael Pierce's alignment is going to dictate that this is a man pass protection. There are 5 defenders here for the Colts offensive line to account for. A man on a man to each of these 5 defenders right here. So when Kyle Hamilton comes, the right tackle is accounting for Clowney, the right guard is accounting for Smith, and the center is accounting for Pierce. If the running back was in pass pro, he could potentially come across and pick up, but instead he's going to run the mesh rail route here. So as these receivers are working across the middle of the field trying to create a traffic jam, the Ravens actually turn it into a much larger traffic jam because they drop Michael Pierce and Justin Madubuike. Gardner Minshew starts to drift to his right and holds the football, and the Ravens are able to go get a sack on 3rd and 8 in the first 3rd down of this game for the Colts. Kyle Hamilton comes unblocked. So again, as I rewind it and go slow motion, we'll see Pierce and Madubuike engage to make sure those guys account for them, then drop off. Now there are 4 pass rushers in Robinson, Smith, and Clowney, with only 3 pass blockers actually occupying a man. That is how you scheme up pressure. And we'll see the way that Pierce and Madubuike, their eyes, as Queen picks up the back, Minshew tries to go find someone. No one's ready for the ball. There's a huge traffic jam. And by the time Minshew could have done anything about it, Kyle Hamilton is there. Really, Minshew's only other options are to take off or to try to throw the ball away. But by the time he processes everything going on, it's a sack. So while Kyle Hamilton gets the sack, he did a great job closing, turned a super tight corner there, freak athlete, nothing to take away from Hamilton. Really, Mike Macdonald dialed up this pressure and created a sack for Kyle Hamilton's first of his 3 sacks. A really, really exciting pressure look, a great way to manufacture a pass rush, especially in a game where you're already without Adafe Owe, Tyus Bowser, and now David Ajabo, who is out for the rest of the game with an ankle injury after this play, or before this play, I should say. All right, let's go move on to the next one. The next one is going to be another 3rd and 8, and we're going to see a little bit of a different look from the Colts getting up towards midfield. So we'll freeze it before anything changes. The Ravens look like to go up against the Colts 3-by-2, empty set. We see 1, 2, 3 to the field, and then we see 1, 2 to the boundary here. And last time, Gardner Minshew didn't have any help from his running back, so it looks like the Colts are like, all right, well, let's bring this running back in. So now it's going to be a 3-by-1 with a back. And Ravens showing defenders at the line of scrimmage again. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we've got Kyle Hamilton here sneaking around, ready to come off the edge again. So the back is going to try to come across the same way and pick up Kyle Hamilton. The Colts are going to run really a 3 verts type concept. We're going to see Pierce, the number 1, to the field, run this way, and then break in. We're going to see the number 2 carry pretty much deep, and the number 3 is going to run kind of that deep crosser across. And the Ravens now look like they are in a man lock situation or zone lock situation. We see Ronald Darby down here. We see this defender, Roquan Smith, I believe, Kyle Hamilton, and Worley to account with Patrick Queen potentially in the middle. We're going to end up seeing the Ravens drop David Ajabo into the hook, and Clowney is going to drop straight back as well. We're going to see this backside receiver come on a shallow, and the back just can't pick up Kyle Hamilton. It looks like Gardner Minshew again drifts to his left, and he really wants to go hit the number 3 on this crosser, but we're going to see Brandon Stevens and I believe Geno Stone here peel off and just really contain that. So as Minshew starts to go for it, he's moving. We see Kyle Hamilton just come right off the edge and beat the back with a little dip, a little speed dip. Just gets right around him. Back can't really do anything. Not great pass pro. Goes and gets him. So Minshew really had nowhere to go with the ball other than maybe quickly trying to throw across his body to this shallow right here. Let me get rid of those. Get to the shallow right here as he's working across the field. But senses that pressure starts to drift this way, really eliminates a lot of options for himself. All he has is to try and fit this ball right into this area between 2 defenders who are both visioning him. So he chooses not to. Pump fakes briefly, which we'll see on the end zone copy. Kyle Hamilton gets his 2nd sack of the first quarter. So again, we're going to see on the right side, David Ajabo and Clowney are going to drop off. And again, it's overloading pressure to one side. Really not anything coming at the right side to the left tackle. Pierce starts to cross face. They do a little TE stunt effectively with Smith and Matabike. Smith is going to wrap. Matabike is going to attack that tackle. The back is going to try and come across in pass pro and go pick up Hamilton and just simply can't. He was not deep enough as he tries to scan. Didn't see Hamilton coming, disguises that well, and it's too late. Hamilton's too deep, and as the back tries to recover, can't really get there. Minshew thinks about it. Stevens ready to turn and run. Stone ready to turn and run. Feels Hamilton coming in. Minshew is just backpedaling like a DB here. Look at that backpedal. Put him on defense, coach. Trying to get away. Probably just should have gotten this ball out way sooner. Maybe step up and try and float it or throw it away, but it was 3rd down anyway. So Kyle Hamilton with his 2nd sack of the first quarter. Now on Kyle Hamilton's 3rd and final sack of the game on 3rd and 9 here, he ends up getting a strip sack. We're going to see the Colts in a 3-by-1 again. We're going to see a couple things that both teams try to do. So we'll see the 3-by-1, 1, 2, 3 to the field. We have this ISO receiver to the boundary by himself. And we see the back, I believe Deion Jackson to the left here. So we saw the Colts score a touchdown on a rail concept where they were able to get a one-on-one with Zach Moss and Patrick Queen. So they're going to try and run a variation of that a bit. I think we see all stops up here to let me leave this on. I think we see all stops here or sticks up at the top of the screen. Some variation of that from these three. And we're going to see Michael Pittman try and go take out Patrick Queen as the back comes out of the backfield. Now, we're going to watch Patrick Queen walk up to the line of scrimmage. That's what Gardner Minshew checks into, that mesh rail concept, that two-man rail concept with the pick, essentially. And then we see Kyle Hamilton, after the Ravens have showed, hey, we're going to bring pressure off this side. Patrick Queen's going to come. He's walked up. We're going to overload this side. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, then Kyle Hamilton's going to sneak up, and it's actually going to be overloading pressure on this side. So we're going to watch Hamilton walk up. We're going to watch Clowney attack the right tackle. We're going to watch Roquan Smith attack the right guard. Michael Pierce is going to drop out, just like in the first sack, I believe, and Justin Madubuike is also going to drop out. So the Ravens end up rushing 4 again. 1 to the right side defensively or the left tackle side, and then 3 to the left side defensively or the right tackle side. So Gardner Minshew really needed to try and get this rail concept out much quicker. Patrick Queen did an okay job here. Definitely probably could have been a throwaway. So we're going to see Kyle Hamilton walk up late and again is just uncovered. And as soon as this back shows eyes, Minshew should have gotten rid of that ball. Queen is running with him. Michael Pittman kind of whiffs on that pick. And Queen does a great job there getting vertical back instead of trying to get it to hip right there. We see Queen realize I can't keep running at him. I have to change my path. I'm going to go deeper so that I can go try and make a play. By then, Minshew should have gotten the ball out. I'm going to put this one on Minshew. But again, a free rusher coming and hitting Minshew. He had to throw that right on time. Kyle Hamilton gets the ball out. Unfortunately for the Ravens, they can't recover. Great effort by Quentin Nelson and Michael Pittman to go run after this ball and prevent there from being a turnover on their own side of the field. Really could have been a scoop and score. Jeremiah Moon unable to get the ball. But again, we'll see the overload to the left side, 1, 2, and 3. And then Kyle Hamilton is going to come off that edge unblocked here. So Queen runs up, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to run a play to that side. Deion Jackson's listening. You see everybody's like, okay. Again, it's going to be man. They're going to try and get the 5 interior guys. Usually with these pressure looks, offensive lines are always going to try to account for the 5 closest. So let's say all of these guys did end up rushing. Let's say it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then Queen would have been the free rusher because he is the outermost threat, meaning it takes the longest for him to get to the quarterback. So that's why it was, okay, let's dump the ball out here. But then he doesn't come. Kyle Hamilton does, and we see the tackles drop off after occupying their guys again, and there's just a free rusher. Kyle Hamilton goes, explodes into Gardner Minshew. Unfortunately, Moon can't make a play. Look at Quentin Nelson haul. I do want to spotlight Quentin Nelson here. Watch him haul to go make this play right here, to go hit this ball out of Jeremiah Moon's hands. Full effort right here. Full effort. No. Pops the ball out as Moon is fumbling with it. And it looks like maybe Hamilton kind of messes Moon up a little bit, perhaps. Looks like the ball was starting to come out. But look at Nelson again. Let's watch him. Watch him come, charge, hit at the ball. Full effort. Michael Pittman, hit at the ball. Maximum effort. Gardner Minshew gets in there. So a great effort from the Colts to knock that out. But Kyle Hamilton ultimately gets a huge sack. All 3 of these coming on third down pressure looks. 2 times. It's with defensive tackles dropping out. Mike Macdonald is a master of disaster, drawing up these simulated pressures, getting free rushers with only 4 guys rushing. So you still have 7 guys in coverage. Patrick Queen doesn't end up coming. And Minshew hesitates. Kyle Hamilton just absolutely blasts him. Full speed ahead through Minshew. That didn't feel good. And Minshew still gets up and runs after it. Minshew's a high effort guy. So is Pittman. So is Nelson. So 3 sacks for Kyle Hamilton. He also had a tackle for loss, at least 1 run stuff, and also broke up, I believe, at least 1 screen in this game as well. So a monster effort from the Ravens' second-year first-round pick out of Notre Dame. Highest picked player since Ronnie Stanley, also out of Notre Dame 8 years ago. 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. It's been a while now. So 3 sacks in the first half, ties an NFL record, and sets a Ravens franchise record for Kyle Hamilton, who now leads the Ravens in sacks on the year.